It may sound like a morbid matter to tackle.
It is time to stop burying your head in the sand. Unfortunately, we all pass.
But writing a will may be the wisest move you could make while you're alive.
If you don't have a will, the state of California decides where your money and property go.
Since you can't sort out your affairs in the afterlife, let this Legal Smart checklist point you to the bright light. The first step, assess what you possess.
Think about what property you own, what bank accounts you have, what kind of money, what kind of retirement plans. Where do you want that money to go?
Once you've determined your dollars, seek professional aid.
It is not necessary that you go to a lawyer. There are so many credible online services that can walk you through each step of your will. It will not cost you a lot of money.
Also, don't let the ink dry before breaking down your belongings that can't be replaced.
Most importantly for people with children is, in the event of your untimely death, who's going to raise those children? And you want to make sure there's money put aside for their education, for their living expenses. But picking a guardian to take care of your children should be one of the most important things a parent decides.
After you've put it in print, make sure to revise regularly.
Update your will when you get divorced, when you move, when you have more children. Your will should reflect where you are now in your life and what you want your intentions to be today and moving forward.
So whether or not you carpe diem, don't procrastinate on the prepping of your passing, because who wants to be a burden after they are buried?
I understand it's a scary, horrible thing to think about, but my goodness, a little bit of planning can save so much headache and heartache for those that you love.
All right, Alison Triessl now joining us live here in the studio to talk about this very touchy subject for a lot of people.
We're glad to have you with
Yeah,
us.
it's so uncomfortable for so many people.
Are there any of the cases, big cases, that stand out for you?
This is an incredible case, but it really illustrates why you need to have a will. There was a 22-year-old girl who tragically died in a car accident. She had been estranged from her father for many years. He had never paid child support. Her family received a $2 million settlement after her death. Half of that went to her father because she didn't have a will. So the state decides who the money goes to. Without a spouse and without children, it went 50-50 to her parents.
Wow, that's amazing. So what about the cost of doing all this? You said you could do it online, but for most people it's a little more complicated than that.
Well, if you go online, and there really are some credible places to go, it's a couple $100s. Most attorneys, a couple $1,000s. If you have a lot of assets, it's going to run you a lot more. And then if you have a living trust and other things that you want to add on. But remember, you worked hard for this money. Put some time and money into where it's going to go and how it's going to be allocated. It'll mean a lot to the people who are left having to deal with all these issues.
And this may be a silly question, but what actually makes it legal? Do you get like a stamp of approval or a seal or?
Well, usually it's if there's witnesses that have observed it, but if you've gone through the effort and said this is my last will and testament, so that the state and the people that are reviewing it can know these were your intentions, they'll usually hold up in court.
This is probably another step, especially for people that have a lot of assets, but along with a will, also a trust.
Right.
Because if you don't set up a trust, you'll lose a lot of those assets, or your family will lose them to taxes.
Well, yeah, and that's where the inheritance tax, a lot of that can be avoided if you set these things up in advance and you have a living will or a trust. And also remember, advanced health care directives, extremely important too, so that people know when you're alive and when you're really sick, what you would want to have happen. Would you like to prolong that? Would you not? Perhaps your spouse doesn't even know.
That's so true. And also paying for the funeral.
Huge
All
expense,
that allocation of
huge
money,
expenses,
yeah.
absolutely. So it's a very tough topic to tackle and discuss, but my goodness, it's so important.
All right. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to every Tuesday and Thursday, and you'll be here live with us every Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Talking about these need-to-know legal questions.
We're going to get so smart with you here.
Absolutely. And we want people to submit the questions so that we can talk about them, because
that's a great
it's
idea.
really important that we're talking about the things that matter to the viewer.
Great. Thank you, Alison.